Hi everybody, welcome to EDU 390. This video is an orientation video to familiarize you with Blackboard and to get you started on the first week. So when Blackboard appears in your Blackboard list, and it will after I finish this video, I'll make this active. It will usually take about 24 hours to show up, but it'll eventually show up and you can access this. The landing page is announcements. This is where I'll post information that's important to the course or extra information and so forth. So this is where you land each time. Over to the left is the toolbar, and again we have announcements, and I'm going to go through each one of these tabs just to give you a sense in case you haven't taken a Blackboard course before, and if you have, each instructor's construction of a Blackboard course is different. So about this course site is just that. Gives you information about each one of these particular tabs that over to the left. I don't use all of the tabs, but I use most of them. Here's your syllabus, okay, and it's all here for you. You can download it if you want to. You can leave it here, just access it online. I'm going to come back to this and go over it with you. I just want to go through the tabs right now. Instructor information, this is me, and this is how you can find me. So my phone number, my cell phone if you really need it, my office hours, and so forth. Learning resources, this is some generic learning resources. The library is here. I don't put additional learning resources. They're all found within the course content. Technical and Blackboard support, if you have any problems, here's where you can get help. This is important on download sites. You must use Firefox or Chrome. Firefox works the best. Internet Explorer will not play well with Blackboard. You might get away with it for a little while, but you'll have problems. The same thing happens with Safari. And almost every semester somebody will let me know, oh, this isn't working, I couldn't upload it, won't save. It's usually because they're using the wrong browser. If you don't have Firefox or Chrome, you can download them right here. They're free, but do get them on your computer. And Firefox is preferred. On a Mac, you can get away with Chrome. We're not going to be using QuickTime, but it's here if you want to use it. And then again, it's just some commonly used Blackboard tools. Resources for students who are new to Blackboard, and there's some Blackboard help. And then technical assistance again. Whoops, I guess it's duplicated there. So there's technical and Blackboard support. Course content, and you notice I have this in uppercase letters, is the most important because this is where you will find the information for each module. These modules are set up. There are 9 modules throughout a 15-week semester. The first module encompasses 1 week. Every module after that encompasses 2 weeks. Okay, so this is where you'll go to get information on what to do your first week. And you'll notice that it's listed September 2nd. That's because I've designated Wednesdays as the day this class meets. And I'll explain that to you in a little bit. And then field observation is a requirement of your work in this class, and I'll come back to that in a little bit. Discussions are important as well. There are discussions for each one of the modules that you are expected to participate in. I'm going to go back to the syllabus and go over that. Then you can access your grades here, okay. And you can also email your fellow students here. Okay, let's go back to the syllabus so we can go through this. You had to get permission from me to enroll in this course, and you should have had passed your Praxis Core Academic Skills for Educators or Praxis 1. If you have not, it's because I've made some arrangements. If you made arrangements with me, you're scheduled for it, or there's some extraneous circumstance. Okay. If you are a matriculated student, you should have taken EDU 250. EDU 387 or Psych 345 or any kind of an exceptionalities course is required for this course as well. Also ask that you have at least attempted or scheduled your Praxis 2, and if you have not done any of those things, you should contact me, okay, to make sure it is appropriate for you to be in this course. In addition, you must have your MDE OE fingerprinting completed. That's your criminal history record check. If you have not done that, that needs to be done right away because it is required for your field observation. If you have questions about how to do that, please let me know. Expectations for this course. It's a required course for teacher certification in the state of Maine. And this is usually the course people take just before they do their student teaching. I recognize that some of you will not be doing student teaching. Others of you are already practicing teachers that are taking this course for certification in another content area. Again, it's a rigorous process. I expect you to be here, expect you to access Blackboard on a regular basis, complete the work, read all the assigned texts and articles. If you skip them, you're only doing yourself a disservice, and view all the videos. 5 points are deducted for every day an assignment is late. If there are extenuating circumstances, let me know. So as I noted, we meet on Wednesdays. All assigned work is due by Tuesday midnight before the next module. So if it's a 1-week module, it's due the following Tuesday by midnight. If it's a 2-week module, you have 2 weeks to complete that work. Again, you really need to be allotting some quality time for this course. There's a lot of investigation, independent investigation in an online course. I do online videos for almost every module. In fact, sometimes I do more than one, depending on what the content is. But I also provide you with videos and webinars that I want you to complete that will help you to help you with the content and the pedagogy. Discussion forums are very important. They are not optional. So I do not have a teaching assistant for this course. If I had, he or she would assist me with the discussion forums. Late posts and responses will not be considered. So make sure that you are engaging in these discussion forums. Here are some characteristics of an excellent discussion. I'd like you to please read through this carefully. Indicate that we need timely intervals throughout the week. I don't want you logging in just 11:55 before things are due, answering the question or investigating the topic and posting 2 responses very quickly. That will not yield you a good score. All right. Again, make sure that you're logging in regularly and that you are responding to your peers in a thoughtful way. Okay. At least 2 of your peers throughout for each discussion forum. Most students respond to more than that. There were 17 people in this course the last time I looked, although I've been getting requests today from several places, so I suspect it will grow before we open up the class on Tuesday. Let's see. You should already have your text. The bookstore has the list, has had the list since the spring. Each one of the content areas has a separate book. Okay, and they're all listed here. Art gets to have 2 books because it's a K through 12 certification. One is for elementary and one's for high school. We have added a health section to this particular course, but the health text has been delayed in getting to me. I should get it by the end of the week. So those of you enrolled in the health version, I'll be getting that information to you as soon as I can. Okay, as soon as I do, I will email you the text and where you can get it. Standards and resources, these are important. I will be using these throughout the course. Your ELA and content literacy standards, mathematics, social studies, visual arts, next generation science standards. So take some time to go through and look at these links depending on what your content area is. Here are some resources to help you with unit plans. I don't expect that you will go here and just take something wholesale from one of these, but they are useful in helping you think through constructing lesson plans, what some of the components might be. So do use them and use them as a resource. Assignments, discussion forums, weekly, well these are module, I shouldn't say weekly, they're actually module, some are by 2 weeks, 10% of your grade. Reading journals, 10%, I'll talk more about that in a bit. You're going to keep them as a Google document. I've kept them on Blackboard before, but I don't like the platform. They're very cumbersome, so we're going to do it as a Google document. Field observation, as part of this course, you will engage in 20 hours of classroom observation in a school of your choosing and write a report of your findings. It is up to you to make contact with the school or schools, obtain permission, and schedule your observation. The Department of Education fingerprinting requirement must be completed before observation can take place, and a signed UMA risk and release form must be sent to me. You can find the risk and release form under the Field Observation tab. I must have that before you do your observation. So get those signed and to me right away. I also need to have a copy of your CHRCC certificate that shows that you have had that done with the state. So I need 2 pieces of information from you before you do your student observation. And I'll talk more about it throughout at the beginning of the course, but know that you need to get those done. Unit plan, this is the major project for this course. You're going to construct a complete comprehensive unit of study. Components of this plan will be assigned throughout the course. The teaching time will depend on your topic, your inquiry question, but think small, people. You have only 15 weeks to construct this, and you've got a lot of reading to do, so think small when it comes to the unit. People want to do these full-blown semester-long units, and that's a ton of work. Keep it small. You know, a 1-week unit or 2-week unit is sufficient, okay? I'm saying it should cover at least a week, but some people have a hard time keeping it that small, so 1 to 2 weeks max. I don't want to see these big, huge units of study. Teaching demonstration, the unit plan is 40% of your grade. You'll also do a teaching demonstration. You're going to record this using a platform of your choice. I'll give you some possibilities. And you're going to make that accessible to all of us. And you're going to provide the link in the discussion forum for critical friends feedback from your peers, and you're going to send it to me for assessment, okay? And we'll talk more about what that teaching demonstration looks like throughout the course. You're also going to design a professional development plan that is implemented in EDU 490 student teaching. As I noted, I know that some of you may not be going on to do student teaching, but it's still a good idea to have a professional development plan as you begin teaching. So we'll talk more about that and what that looks like. And then you'll do a final self-assessment of the standards in this course and how you feel you've met those standards. And again, we'll talk more about that. And then here are your weighted grades that are really here for you to look at. Please note that I'm going to ask you to submit work for your unit of study throughout the semester for feedback. They're not graded, okay? It's just for feedback. But Blackboard requires some kind of number to show that it's been submitted. So I enter a 100 if you submitted it, even if it's a poor submission, okay? That number only designates you submitted it. It doesn't reflect quality, and it's not calculated into your grade average, okay? It's just to appease Blackboard, all right? And I do give extensive feedback, and here is the grading scale. Here are the usual suspects you'll find on any syllabus at the University of Maine, Augusta. Academic integrity, we expect that you will maintain academic integrity and not plagiarize. If you need disabilities, you need to contact the Learning Services Office. Here are the learning outcomes. Now, all EDU courses are aligned with the Maine Teacher Standards, now called the Maine Common Core Teaching Standards. You must pay attention to these as they are the criteria for your unit of study. And I'm going to show you the rubric by which your unit of study will be judged, okay? So there are 3 standards for learner and the learning. Standard 1, learner development B. Learning differences 2C. Learning environments 3B. I want you to read each one of these carefully. I'm going to unpack them for you a little bit more later on, but not now. I just want you to be familiar with them. Content knowledge 4A and 5A, instructional practice 6B, 7C, and 8E. Okay, so those are the standards, teaching standards that I'm holding you to as you work throughout this course. And then here is your course outline, and this is a very rough sketch. The syllabus is a rough sketch. You'll get more detailed information in the content, course content tab on Blackboard. But each module gives you a sense and gives you the reading, so forth and so on throughout. Okay, all right. Now here's the rubric of study. I want you to rubric for the unit of study. Excuse me. I want you to really look at this because I'm going to expect you to create a rubric according to standards for your own unit plan for student standards. And this might be a nice model for you to see how I've used the wording of this standard to create the indicators. And I'm using 3, proficient, nearing proficient, and needs work, okay? I want you to look at these standards that I'm holding you to, okay? The teacher creates developmentally appropriate instruction and takes into account individual learners' strengths, interests, and needs, and that enables each learner to advance and accelerate his or her own learning, okay? I'll hold you to that with your unit plan. As I am for each one of these. And there's one here that people almost always, they don't pay attention to, and it's this one. The teacher develops learning experiences that engage learners in collaborative and self-directed learning and that extend learner interaction with ideas with people, locally and globally. This gets students beyond the classroom, virtually or face-to-face. But this is an important aspect of learning, okay? Pay attention to it. And each one of these standards then also, and here's another one people tend to forget. The teacher develops and implements projects that guide learners in analyzing the complexities of an issue or question using perspectives from varied disciplines and cross-disciplinary skills. This is the interdisciplinary aspect that I talk about in my introductory video on methods, okay? So, in other words, here's an example, a water quality study that draws upon biology and chemistry to look at factual information, and social studies to examine policy implications. We have to be thinking interdisciplinary here as well. The standard demands it. And the others are pretty straightforward, okay? But I want you to read this very carefully. That's why I give you the rubric in your syllabus. All right. So take some time to read the syllabus carefully, and then come back to me with questions if you have them, okay? Let's go to the field observation, because this is a major component. Here is the risk and release that you can print, sign, scan, and get back to me, all right? This is the report form that you're going to use. I'm going to look at this later. I'm not going to do it today, okay? And if you are a practicing teacher in a school, you can elect to complete a reflective self-analysis of your teaching. And I've given you criteria below. The criteria I've given you is from National Board Certification, all right? Please complete one for each lesson you analyze, and it has to be equal to 20 hours. So a reflective, a reflection on one lesson was not enough. I want to see 20 hours of observation, all right? You still have to give me a copy of your criminal check certification too, all right? I still need to have that. If you are a practicing teacher and would rather do the observation, which I would prefer, I would really prefer you to observe other teachers, but I understand that sometimes that's not easy to get release time in your school, which is why I give you this option. But if you can do the observation, I would prefer that. If you want to do half and half, 10 hours of observation and then 10 hours of self-reflection, that would be okay too. But you need to let me know what you're planning on doing, okay? So at some point, send me an email and say what you're planning on doing. Let's go to course content and look at what I'm expecting. I'm beginning on Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? Yes, Wednesday. So Wednesday this course begins. And you're going, each week I'll reveal the next module, and so you'll have that to work ahead. So here's the introduction, and I give a little block at the beginning with the instructions. What I expect you to do. You're going to introduce yourself in the discussion forum. You're going to complete the content area text assignment. You're going to watch the introductory video. You're going to complete an online workshop on standards. This is going to take you a little while, so don't rush through this. Read the Common Core State Standard Literacy Standards. Okay, everybody. The literacy standards apply to everybody. And your discipline-specific standards. So if you're an English teacher, you kind of get it made because the CCSS literacy standards are one and the same. If you're a science teacher, you're going to read the literacy standards and the next-gen standards. Okay, if you're a math teacher, you're going to read the CCSS literacy standards and the CCSS math standards. If you're a health teacher, you're going to read the literacy standards and the health main learning results. Same thing for art. Okay, you're going to complete the discussion forum assignment, and there are 3 parts to that. I'm going to go over that with you, and you're going to complete your journal for the first week's work. So as you work your way through each one of these items, go in order. Makes much more sense if you do it that way. The discussions are all linked. So here I click on introductions and it takes you directly to the discussion board. You'll see here that I've given you some information. You open it up. I've already introduced myself so you can read and respond. To introduce yourself, you create a thread. So click on create a thread, put your name in the subject line, and then introduce yourself. Okay? I'm going to go back to the course content. Oops, I should have gone the other way. Oh well. Reading assignments, I'm going to be adding the health as soon as I get the text, but here are the ones that are already established. Here's an introductory video, PowerPoint that I've created. If you want to print the PowerPoint off to take notes, you may do that. To do this, you just click on this and it'll take you to YouTube where you can then watch the video. Okay. This is a video that I tried to embed in the PowerPoint that didn't work, so I give you the video here. And this is really what teachers make, and it's kind of in your face, but it's well worth watching. And here's your workshop. Again, this is going to take you some time. This is about teaching to academic standards, okay? And you'll notice that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs. And for each tab, there's a list that you need to work through, okay? So explanation, work through each one of those. Then go to demonstration, work through each one of those. Go to exploration, work through each one of those. And same thing for implementation, okay? So it'll take you a little while. They give you a form for designing a lesson. It's a good form. It's not the one I'm going to ask you to use, but nonetheless, there's a lot of good stuff here to help you think about what it means to teach the standards and to create lesson plans. Here are the content standard links. Again, read the content standards associated with your discipline and the CCSS for literacy and content areas. Okay. There are also, here's your discussion forum. There are 3 parts to this. 1, after completing your first reading assignment, using that information and your own philosophy of learning and teaching, share your beliefs and what you think it means to be a teacher in your discipline. 2, discuss your understanding of standards. And 3, looking at the main resources that I've given you, what do you think about those? So 1 post, 3 parts, okay? I don't want 3 separate posts. 1 post and label it 1, 2, 3, all right? And then your reading journals. Again, each content area has a specific text. I've tried to match those up, but again, it's difficult sometimes, but I think it does a pretty good job. Some texts are longer than others, so some will complete their reading sooner than others. Your journal is a place to keep notes, make observations, question the text, and make comments, all right? They don't have to be long narrative reflections. In fact, bulleted notes, double entry formats, electronic sticky notes, note-taking applications, you decide. I just need to see a reading journal that documents your understanding of your content methods text and shows your thoughtful engagement with the ideas presented in the text and throughout the course by me and your peers. You can also include notes and reflections on other aspects of this week's work, videos, supplemental reading, assignments, and so forth. What I don't want to see is just like a parroting back of what's in the text. I want to see some engagement with that. So if you make a note about a certain concept or skill, react to it. Give me some reflection and reaction, okay? So that I'm getting both. I know you're reading it, but I also know you're engaging with it and reflecting it. Again, you're at all different points in your academic careers, all right? Some of you are practicing teachers, some are ed techs, some are undergraduates, some of you have deep familial connections to teaching, others have a burning desire to change education. No matter where you are, you have something to contribute to the conversation. There's no one correct way to teach. We need to have open minds and flexibility to change our minds, okay? So just keep that in mind as you're reading other people's journals and maybe reacting to them, all right? You're going to keep your journals in Google Docs. If you don't know how to create a Google Doc and share it, let me know. I'm assuming everybody knows how to do that. It's a pretty basic skill, but if you don't, let me know so I can give you a tutorial. You're going to share them with students who are pursuing the same content area or closely related. So while we're doing the methods course together, I think it's also valuable for those who are in the same content areas to share their text, okay? So I know there's only one art student, so I'm going to put the art person with the English people. I think that's the most common way. I think there's enough science to be together. I think there's enough math to be together. Health, I'll probably put the science people. But I'll give you a list of people who are in those particular content areas so you can share your journals. I also need your permission to share your emails. Emails are protected by FERPA. And with Google Docs, you can't hide the email. So if for some reason you don't want to share your email address, which would be kind of silly because on our email client, all you have to do is type the person's name in and their email will come up. But nonetheless, it's a FERPA rule, so you have to give me permission to use your email to share with others, all right? So send me a quick email that says, yes, it's okay to share my email. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'm just going to do a little Google form, a little survey, and I'll put that in the first week. That'll be easier than 20 people sending me emails that I may lose. So I'll just make a little form. You just click on yes or no for sharing, and then I'll have your permission recorded. And then by the end of the first module, I should like to get all that information so I can share your content area group with you. Okay? But regardless, you're going to share it with me, so I can give you commentary, and there's my email address there. All right, so do that with me first, and then I'll create your content groups. Now, in Google Docs, you can actually write in the text, and I would prefer you not do that. I prefer you use the bubble, the bubble feature where it's comments, so you can just, that way people it won't interrupt their text, and they can read to the right what you have to say. All right? Okay. Field observation, we've gone over this already. And the information that was in that tab is here as well, okay? So from day one, I want you to start thinking about your field observation. I want you to get your risk and release and your CHRCC to me, okay? By module 2, I need to have all these things in place. So that's week 1, all right? It's a fair amount of work, a lot of reading, some videos to review, and then module 2 will begin 1 week after this one begins. And then you'll have 2-week modules where you have 2 weeks to work through the content for that. I think that's it, folks. If you have any questions, please let me know. Other than that, welcome to the class, and I'll be happy to meet you all.